This week we're actually going to talk about a credit score and what that means to you and why does it matter. One of my friends, Emma, actually asked me that question, so thanks very much for that, Emma.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Emma. And the question is?
What is a credit score?
So the key thing to know about a credit score is everybody thinks there's a universal score that exists, the magic number that we've all got to be a slave to. The reality is there's a credit report. So if you go and get your credit report, which we'll talk about in a second, there'll be a history of all the types of credit you've taken out, the ones you've got already, how much you owe. And from that, when you go to borrow money, then the lender will look at that credit report and produce a score. And they'll have their own scoring system to judge whether you're going to be a risk and whether they want to lend to you. So there isn't a universal score. There's different scores from different lenders. But if you go and get your credit report from one of the credit checking agencies, they, of course, do produce their own scoring to give you a guideline.
So why does a credit score matter? Why do you need one? Why should you check one? Does it affect you?
Yeah, so just quite simply, it's all about risk. The riskier you are, the more likely you or less likely you are to have money lent to you. So just think of it about your mate. The friend you have that always borrows money and never pays you back. Next time they ask you for money, you're not going to give it to them. So it's the same thing. A lender is not going to want to lend you money if they don't think you've got a good history of managing debt. And your credit report and your credit score are ways in which they judge that. So the key is to go and check it. Now, it used to be you had to always pay to have your credit report checked. You'd get a sign up to a service online, so you had Experian and a number of others. But thanks to new rules, there was a statutory limit on that. You could get them for £2. But because of the wonders of competition, you can get free credit reports now. So noddle.co.uk is one service which I've personally used.
Yeah, I have as well.
And it's good. It's online,
it's really good,
so quick. And what you do is you get a credit report and you need to go on there and check that everything on there in your credit report is correct. I did mine not long ago and there was some information that was incorrect. And so therefore, when you go and apply for credit, you need to make sure before you do that you go there and make sure everything on there is you. Because, of course, the only way you tend to find out you've been a victim of fraud if somebody's taken out credit in your name is the point at which you want to go and buy that car or get a mortgage, and you go to try and get credit and you get declined. And at that point, it's going to take you a while to unravel it. It's not that easy to always unravel it in a matter of days. It can take quite a while to unravel any mistakes on your credit report. So do it annually. It's like an annual spring cleaning. You go on there, you register, you just get a report, you check to make sure there's no mistakes or anything that it shouldn't be on there. If there are things that shouldn't be on there, then sites like Noddle explain how you can rectify mistakes, like I had to. So go and do that once a year. It's a bit of spring cleaning, and by doing so, you can ensure you're probably more likely to get credit.
Another thing to bear in mind actually as well, because I've recently done a credit check and I've done one with Noddle and also Experian. Like Damien said earlier, how it's not a universal score. I got a different score with Noddle and it was around the average mark, but then with Experian, I was in the good mark, so the green mark. So sometimes it's actually worth maybe going to 2 different providers. Both of them are free, because if you look at one, you think, oh no, my credit score's really rubbish. I don't really have a reason for my credit score to be that bad. So I went to Experian and it was quite good. So that just proves that these companies come up with their own version of your credit score.
Yeah. So the main thing of this video really is to take away that you need to check your credit report regularly, at least once a year, to make sure there are no mistakes. So at the point where you go to take out credit or you need credit, then you're not going to be rejected unfairly.
And one last thing this week then, so when does your credit report actually get checked, and should you bear in mind before you go and do something simple as getting a bank account, will your credit report get checked and how does that affect you?
Yeah, so there'll be a number of ways if you went to get a bank account, if you want to get a loan, mortgage, anything where you're borrowing money, utility bills, you might not realise it, but getting a utility bill, effectively you are in a way borrowing energy before you pay for it. So the point is, it's always good to be on top of these things, spring clean, just double check, because there are a number of times when your credit will be checked, your credit history, even if you're not borrowing money.
So that's it for this week. Tune in next week actually to have a look at tips on how to improve your credit score, because a lot of those credit companies will tell you that you need to sign up and pay them money for them to tell you how to specifically improve your credit score, and you actually don't need to do that. So tune in next week to find out. As ever, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our social media accounts, our Facebook Money to the Masses, our Instagram at Money to the Masses, and our Twitter at Money to the Masses with the number 2.
You pop the pot finger off. Where did it go?
How do you know?
Is it in your dress?